We just hit 100 subscribers, and we're doing an awesome giveaway for a Convat badge to LFG Con for this episode. We're also talking about TCGs and the hiring process for our store. So stick around to find out how to win a badge and learn more about these topics. All right, so this is our 12th or 13th episode of the LFG Con VideoCast Dice, Cards, and Coffee. And we just hit 100 subscribers not too long ago, so we're doing a giveaway.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we didn't hit them. We
just got there.
We lined them up.
All in a row. And we also already gave away a badge for the Strategicon episode when we talked a little bit about Strategicon and being there at that convention, which is in LA and near LAX. So for this episode, at the end, we'll share details on how to win a LFG Con badge for LFG Con June 13th through the 15th, 2025.
Nice. It'll have to do with commenting, right, on this video?
Something like that.
Yeah. More details at the end.
Yeah. Stick around to find out. We're also talking about what's hot, and we're kind of going to frame that segment to talk about TCGs a bit. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the hiring process for our stores as kind of the core topic for today. So, what is hot for TCGs for you guys?
George?
Yeah, so right now I think it's Lorcana for us, for our store, because, we didn't have Lorcana before, and then we just got it in, and we've got a league going, and so right now I think that's probably our hottest product, and it got me playing, so I think the game's pretty cool.
You know how to play now?
Yeah, I know how to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're an old school Magic player.
Mm-hmm.
You played Lorcana.
Yep.
Are there any other TCGs you've played?
Oh, I've played a lot.
Okay.
Through the years, yeah.
Well, how does Lorcana rank among them?
I like it. I think it's simple enough, to learn it pretty quickly, but it's also got some cool strategy involved. And I like not being able to get hosed or flooded, really. And there's different ways you can kind of play the sing song action in the game is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really like that part of it. It's a fun game. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You've played it, Day?
I have, yeah. Yeah, same. Lorcana is doing well. Magic, we're on the downtrend of Modern Horizon 3, I think, but people are still buying the boosters for it.
But Assassin's Creed was after Modern Horizon.
Yeah, it was a very small subset, which was popular because, a lot of people have played Assassin's Creed. Some of the cards are pretty cool. I personally have not played it, but it's been popular so far.
Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed seems to even get people purchasing the packs that aren't Assassin's Creed fans.
Yeah.
Too.
Like I said, there's some good cards in there. Yeah, good magic cards. Also, it's a small set, so you don't have to buy a whole box or a few packs in here and there. You might get the cards you need. So it was pretty good in that aspect.
They did the classic Wizards of the Coast thing with serialized collector cards. So there's always that hot, sought after product for every set.
That's why they call it collector, right? Collector packs, without something to really collect. It's
right.
How popular can it be? So that's pretty good.
How's Lorcana been for you?
It's good. People are playing. More new people are picking up. Old Magic players are actually coming back playing Lorcana instead of Magic.
Oh, interesting.
So it's pretty interesting. It very. I'm pretty sure in the old TCG segment, I've talked about more on the play style of Lorcana, and very similar to Magic. Little tweaks in there to make it different, but I think it resonates pretty well with a lot of Magic players. So that's why they're getting into it. You know?
So I have a question for you guys regarding Lorcana, because I haven't noticed it personally. Is like, it almost feels like we've hit a plateau of new players getting into it. I know you just mentioned you got some older Magic players playing. I'm trying to think of like how often I see people come into Lorcana and never really getting a chance to play, and now wanting to play. I definitely saw it a lot, like maybe into the Inklands a bit, but I'm trying to think if I have had, I would say like a lot less.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a little interesting to I guess word it of getting new players, because a lot of people don't go to weekly events, you know, or I should call it league events for Lorcana, because that's what they're more focused on. But a lot of players still don't go to local league events, but they'll go to the big events, you know.
Yeah.
It's interesting because they Lorcana Ravensburger shut down that free online where you could play online for free. Pixelborn, yeah, they shut it down. So it's interesting. I know there's a lot of people are like saying that sucks, I can't practice, and a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, they go to your local game store to play, you know. So it's interesting. I don't know if that's a effect of seeing new people in faces or not, whatnot, but for sure, new players are coming, playing, and signing up for the championship events, stuff like that.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'm getting a couple of people asking about the championship.
Are you guys doing the championship?
I haven't decided yet still. So I think I want to, but I don't know exactly how to run it or what to do, but we'll figure that out. But I mean, I'm getting new people. So like, we didn't have Lorcana before at all. We got it in, and you know, we went from one person saying, hey, I want to play it, to we have like eight or 9 now in our league that come every Sunday and play. And like, these are people who really weren't looking to play the game, and we kind of, you know, got them into it, and they love it.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
So, for sure. Yeah, Lorcana I think it's an uptick in players. And it's interesting also because the new format is 2 games. I don't want to call it best of 2 because there's really no best. Each round you play 2 games now.
Yeah. Is that? I remember them having some sort of announcement once they tried it out. What was do you know what the like result of the first regional for it?
I personally don't know, but it seems to work out. I don't know. I mean, some people might still complain about it, but I think it's, you know, there's always those people who are like, oh, I like it, or I don't like it, and then it's like, oh, I like it, just be good, you know.
Yeah,
just one of those
get good.
Yeah, get good kind of deal. But I don't know. It's interesting. But we'll see where it goes. It's their first time Ravensburger's probably, you know, doing these type of events, you know. So it's like, do they want to just copy straight off from other organized play, or do you want to try to make something their own, you know? So it's a very interesting take on it for sure. Yeah.
What about other TCGs?
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is hot still. I mean, it's only second set. They also have their own version of I mean, it's still best of 3, but it's a weird, how they do the top cut is interesting. If there's like a equal amount of record, they play their own like thing. I forget exactly, but I have to. It was interesting.
I do remember looking at their tournament event organizer, and oh no, this is One Piece. One Piece, their tiebreaker is different than Lorcana's tiebreaker. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Lorcana does a tiebreaker based off like, I don't know if it's a game win percent. I always have to go look it up for every game. What is the tiebreaker?
Yes.
But One Piece was different. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting because if it was another way, I don't remember, but it just ended up having to make 2 people play for second or third place or something. Yeah, because we're very flat pricing, and we give the top 2. Yeah, that's what it was. It was playing for second place.
Okay.
Yeah, because somebody was in first and he was a clear winner. I don't remember exactly, but it was interesting. We had to play one more game because it was a tie all the way across.
I see. All right.
So
yeah, it's just interesting how, you know, other organized play kind of deal with stuff, but Popularity wise, I don't know if that's a reason why some games are popular or not, but I for sure I think mechanic wise is and IP. Let's be real,
Yeah.
IP definitely helps.
Oh, I have a question. Maybe someone watching can answer this question because we're talking about Star Wars United. That's my favorite TCG right now.
Maybe, yeah.
I like I'm not a big Star Wars person, but I do love the mechanics of the game. I played in a sealed, and this kind of goes with what's hot for us.
Where'd you play at?
Here. and to like talk about whether it's hot or not for us, like, yeah, we're selling booster boxes because the market price on them are pretty high.
Yeah, it's over MSRP.
And people are, anything over MSRP is hot, right?
Right.
But for us in store, for our sealed event, we only had one player. And like, I like the game, so I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to play if there's an odd number.
Yeah,
and
just fill in the spot.
so it was but it ended up just being two of us. Daniel, if you're watching, thanks for playing with me.
Did you beat him, Daniel? I
hope
you did.
No, that's the question that I have. We got to the point where, so in Star Wars United, when you deck out, when you run out of cards, you don't automatically lose. It does damage to your base. He had 25 damage or something to his base, and I had 29 damage to my base.
Okay.
And we both ran out of cards at the same time. According to the rules, you simultaneously draw those cards, so we both go above 30 and our bases blow up at the same time or whatever. So we were trying to look up that rule, and I couldn't find the answer. So
my guess would just be a tie.
Yeah, that's what we're like. Yeah. So I guess we tie.
My guess would be immediately a tie, unless you have a special unique tiebreaker rule.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you actually took more damage
than the other person. Yeah.
Just top of my head, I believe it was probably a tie.
It was fun though. Like that's why I love it, because you can get to the point where like it's really close and it never feels solvable, which I feel that way about some TCGs, like Arcana and Pokemon feel that way sometimes.
Yeah. I mean that comes down to the more competitive players,
Right.
Like they probably quote unquote solved it in a way. That's why meta decks appear, because people are practicing online or at stores, so they figure out what they should play or what should not play. So, and then the internet's quick with all this information.
Yeah, the internet's
it's information is crazy.
Days.
Oh, it's so fast.
So it's like, oh, just check out this card. Yeah, I'm playing my deck and stuff like that.
I used to play, when I played back in the day Magic, they had the Apprentice.
It
was it was online, it was, but it was so basic and but it was awesome. And that's where I got all my practice from. But nowadays it's like, there's everything online.
Yeah,
it's super
like
fast.
Top 8 deck for this tournament, top 8 deck for that tournament,
and then
whatever.
What Bloomborough is coming out pretty soon, and it already has
for
the
Magic
spoilers and everything.
That's definitely a hot list. I mean, it's not out yet, but people are pre-registering, pre-ordering.
They've been doing pretty good with sets.
They've been doing really good.
Yeah.
Modern Horizons, Bloomborough, like Assassin's Creed, not a stellar set, but not bad. Like the stinker is probably Karlov Manor, right?
Well, the Outlaws, right? Outlaw Junction was good.
Okay.
Outlaws
was
good. Outlaws was decent. Yeah,
it was all right.
Karlov was okay too.
Yeah,
but definitely does not. I mean, the thing is, like, people knew Modern Horizon coming out, right? It's like, I should save it for that set because it's gonna be Modern Horizon.
Yeah,
and so far, usually those special sets are always a banger. So
to keep talking about what's hot for us, I just went back to our 90-day best TCGs, and Magic was our highest. And I think that's our first time Magic's been our highest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And it has to do with Modern Horizons, right?
Right.
It's a popular set, and it's a high price point.
High price
it's
point,
not.
for sure.
It's very easy to get up there. Those two things are.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah. I was actually surprised. I'm like, okay, Magic, all right.
Well, I'm excited for Bloomborough because all the little critters.
Yeah, that's when they first released the Jace as a fox, I was immediately like, "Yep, this is gonna be a hot set." And that was back in May or something. Like I put it in a group chat. I was like, I posted to Jace. I was like, "Yeah, this is a hot set."
Yeah.
And then now, as they keep
Jace
spoiling cards, everyone's like, "Oh, I want this as my commander. I want this in my deck." And
It'll be interesting because we've been a store for about 2 years, and the only set that I can think of that's not like a big IP set, like a standard set, that we weren't able to immediately reorder set boosters or like the main, because now they're play boosters, was Phyrexia.
Yeah, so Phyrexia is very popular planes, I guess you call it, in the Magic world.
So I wonder if Bloomburrow will be similar where like whatever you put
if
in,
they
you
keep
get.
going back to Bloomburrow. I mean, they might if it's big enough, or I mean, I don't follow the lore, but if it makes sense to keep going back, I'm pretty sure they will. Because right now it's definitely gonna be a hot set.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's hot.
People love little critters.
TCGs are just hot over across.
TCG.
Like
it's definitely a year. I like to call it the battle of organized play for TCG this year.
Yeah.
Like, you got to find the schedule.
So you think someone's
going
to win out in that battle, or
eventually? I think one might have a falling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be Magic. I'll put my hat in the ring. It won't be Magic.
Yeah. I think Lorcana's here for like the fact that whenever a store announces a store championship, it pretty much sells out immediately, and then all the regional stuff sells out immediately. Like,
I mean, it's a big IP.
Regardless how you feel about the game,
we can't deny
the
it.
The competitive scene, if it's healthy too.
It's a big IP. So Lorcana, 100% brought in a lot of new TCG players. 100%. They never played TCG before, card games.
I have,
And then they're like, I love Disney. I want to learn this.
Right.
And then they learn it. And like you said, it's pretty simple to grasp and everything, right?
Right.
So it's like,
yeah, for sure.
It's very easy for new players to just hop in, learn it, and play it.
So maybe it's Star Wars. It's going to kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
What do you guys think? Leave some comments.
So, Star Wars, it's hot still because it's only a second set,
right?
And product is still limited.
Yeah.
The mechanics I love. I'll tell you why I think you really enjoy it. Because Star Wars is more of a board game than a card game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is.
It wouldn't be Fantasy Flight's first game that
felt like that,
blew up and then was gone.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, they're doing very well with their collectability, I should say.
Yeah.
So Star Wars Destiny did not have that.
I think they're executing.
They didn't have that. They
really well. Yeah.
They kind of, I don't want to say gave in or following, but they're definitely, know what works, I guess, to gain interest of more than just playing the game, but other ways to sell the product, I guess. So
I would just say there's, right now 3 really hot ones, right? And there's other ones, of course, TCGs. Like, you have limited space and limited, resources to put into organized play for those 3. It's like someone's going to have to give, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we already.
I don't want to say One Piece, but I'm going to predict One Piece. Just the way Bandai they kind of deal with the product per se.
Yeah.
It's a hot game and still product issue.
Mm.
And then I think they're doing it on purpose. I don't know if they're wanting to make it scarce or
we don't know. It's just
or they're scared of overprinting. But I think the game's good. One Piece, biggest anime right now.
Yeah.
So I really don't know why they don't just print more of it. Yeah. It's just a very questionable business decision, I guess. If they keep this trend, it's going to be very hard to get new players to join in. That's the thing about. So, like Lorcana, I think you said it kind of plateaued as it definitely plateaued with price wise, I guess you could say. It's no longer over market price and stuff like that.
A couple sets ago, for sure.
But that means they have printed demand a little bit more, and that in that outcome, more people get to start playing the game.
Yeah,
that's very important,
Yeah, it's interesting because I see Lorcana following a lot of the market things as Pokemon to me. Like, it just depends on the set. Margins aren't the best, but there are some sets that are good that make up the margins. But what we don't have with Pokemon that maybe you have is like an in-store community.
Yeah, so we still have people coming in.
Really helps buffer the not so great margins, or maybe we sit on product a little bit longer. But like when we can do a store championship and sell out at a decent price per seat, that's kind of makes up for some of that stuff.
I mean, the last 3 months, I would say Pokemon definitely has been down on attendance. But we'll see with the new the World Championship for next season started.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out. But yeah.
All right, so that is TCGs. We spent a lot longer on that segment this episode, but there's just so much to talk about.
A lot. Yeah.
So let's go into hiring. So this is kind of our main topic for the episode. I know all of us have went through the hiring process for our stores. Some of us maybe more so than others. Fire and Dice, you guys just went through the hiring process for two. So maybe can we just go over and give an overview of like what our staff structure looks like at our stores?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, right now we have 17 employees.
Woo!
And, you know, only like 2 or 3 are probably full time.
Okay.
But, you know, we've fluctuated from like 10 to 17 employees for the last year for sure. When I first opened, I thought we'd only need 7. And that's all I had. And I was like, yeah, that soon became evident that we needed more. But, so we go around 17 employees.
Yeah. I mean, your cafe also, so it definitely probably need the people in the back, to cook and clean and
we got the
make
game
the drinks.
Side, the ones cooking, and then we have the ones the baristas making the drinks.
Yeah.
So do you have like a supervisor structure with divided up among those things, or how does that work?
Yeah, we have a manager and then shift leads.
Oh, okay.
And then from there it's I think we have a lot of shift leads actually, probably like 6.
What's the most employees working at the same time?
6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah. 6. 6 is when we're super busy. Yeah.
So you said you've been back and forth 17 to 10. Is that based off seasonal, like summertime busy?
I mean, summertime does get a little busier, but no, it's more just that we've been growing.
Oh, okay.
It's
getting more busier and busier.
Yeah, we've been just growing as a business. Started with maybe $35,000 in sales a month. In the very beginning, and now we're double that almost. So, it's just getting busier and busier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you do get busier, but now you have more overhead, and it's like,
and like when you're short a few.
Sorry, I can't imagine your labor costs. It's like hurting my heart.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It definitely can add up.
What were you saying?
That is the hardest part, obviously. But yeah, when we first started, I tried to keep labor costs down. Obviously, I still do, but I did it by like trying to maximize everybody's hours, and now I figured out it's better to have a bunch of part-time employees, and have coverage.
Yeah.
Because when somebody calls out sick, what do you do?
Yeah, right. That's definitely the worst case scenario.
Yeah. So now you have these extra people, and they're okay working like 2, 3 days a week, and then they cover shifts. Yeah. So it's actually been working out really well lately.
Yeah. All right. And how about
you, Dave?
Yeah, we currently have 6, and we are actually losing a member because he's going to be moving with his significant other, and then very good employee, Dakota. Thank you. Very much appreciate the hard work. We're losing a big hit, so instead of hiring 1 extra, now we got to hire 2, which actually we just did. We put out a flyer on social media and Discord, and we're very surprised of how many people applied. We're just like, what the heck?
Yeah, you said 40, right?
That's something like that. It was a lot, and we're just like,
that's a lot.
So Chris mainly is in charge of that, and I just kind of backseated, and then I read the resumes and stuff, and then it was hard. It's like, all right, we're definitely not going to be interviewing like 30, 40 people. So immediately we're just like, all right, we got to.
Yeah, that would be rough.
It's like we had to decide, all right, who are we cutting
first,
off? Yeah.
And then interview.
So, we go to the process of, we discuss each other. All right, this guy, has got, good potential and whatnot. At least for us, one thing we definitely look at is experience in the hobby. Yeah. Like not
interesting.
Like it's definitely a bonus if if they've worked before at retail or whatnot. But one of the top thing is with the knowledge in the hobby industry of what we do at the store. So that's definitely a big thing we look at for that. But it's hard,
How do you set up here?
We have 2 part-time staff, and those are responsible for. So both of them were promoted, and we don't really have a structure because there's just 2 part-time staff. Right, it's me and then them. And then them. Yeah, so they were promoted.
That's a structure.
Yeah, they were promoted to key holder and project lead. So once they got that promotion, they were responsible for some aspect of the store.
Cool.
Whether it's one of our staff does Warhammer, the other staff does more Magic stuff. And then we have our DMs, who are paid DMs that work with our youth. So they are usually working 4 hours a week, and then maybe a bit more in the summertime during our summer camps.
Okay.
And then our part-time staff, they work anywhere between 8 to 15 hours a week each. Okay. And then we also have, so shout out to one of our staff, Elizabeth. She was awesome at leaving. So I'm trying to decide if we should hire someone else. We won't know probably for another month, or if I'm just going to pick up some of the shifts to save a little labor cost for short term. And then once I get a little bit more burnt out being here all the time, then I'll be all right, it's time to find someone. Because another thing is that it's interesting, because we were talking about this before, is I think our mentalities are a little bit different about expertise and experience on who I hire. And both my staff, they knew a bit about the hobby. Elizabeth, very into role-playing games when she was first hired, but now she knows Magic really well. She knows Warhammer really well. She's in charge of our Warhammer stuff, so anytime we have a Warhammer person, I'm trying to help them the best I can, but then sometimes but you know what? Come on a Sunday, and I guarantee any questions you have, you can get answered. But yeah, I don't know,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you don't have to know it, but if you have 30 people apply and someone already know that, then it's a little bonus, right? I don't really need to teach or kind of rely on them to know it offhand.
Yeah, it's true.
So, I think that's a very good employee. Someone who did you ask the employee to be hey, can you learn this thing? Or take it on,
kind of. I mean, for when we did the review for the promotion was key holder and project lead, and I gave them opportunity to decide what they want to be in charge of the store. Right. Yeah,
that's good.
Because my big thing is you're doing a job and I'm paying you, and you got to make sure you're doing a job, but also long term, I know you're not going to be here forever. So what are some things I can do to help you grow just as a person?
Yeah, no, and for sure.
Giving them that autonomy and choice, and
the agency.
Yeah, really, and figuring out.
Yeah, for sure. Employees that take initiative. Something you didn't ask them to do, but they do it, and it's beneficial. Is I don't care, Harvard, whatever degree you have, that would top any of that any day.
That's funny.
As in my eyes, it's oh, you did this. That's cool. I didn't ask about it,
One of the first bosses. So I've worked a lot of places. I've probably had 20 different jobs. And when I was in my freshman year of high school, we had to do an internship.
Oh,
I did one at a local game store. So it's kind of like GameStop, but it's called Gamers. And one of the first things the guy that was supervising me said initiative was super important, but I only worked there for they hired me after my internship. I just was there for a day and then they hired me, but then I quit pretty quick after
because showed a lot of initiative.
Yeah,
too much initiative.
It was they had me advertising games the whole day, and that just it just wasn't me, and I was too young to speak up for myself and say I can do it, but I really need something else if I want to stay here.
Sure.
Because I came from working in restaurants, and that's very much more stimulating, than sorting and alphabetizing. Yeah,
it's not. You're just not sitting there sorting.
Yeah.
For sure, sorting is it's a task for sure. It's funny because some people who apply would be like, "Oh, I love to sort cards," And then it's like
that's what they write in their resume.
Have you really sorted cards?
I actually do like sorting cards, but
I enjoy it too.
It's
but
okay.
I'm just
I can't do it all day long, like every day.
See, for me, I feel so wasteful.
Really?
Like, I could be doing something else that's more important.
Things.
I love it because it is meditative. And
Yeah.
when I used to just play board games before we opened the store, now we have to do our job, and it doesn't feel. I used to love sleeving cards or organizing the board game, but now
now you hate all that.
Yeah, it's I don't hate it. I just know that it's. There's so many other more important tasks.
I 100% agree. There's definitely something else you can do for sure. But I mean, that's why we hire employees.
Yeah.
For sure, it still feels like there's something better they can do, but it's something that has to be done. And if you're not doing it, someone else has to do it.
So I do want to go back to, because I guess we're kind of talking about employees, but also hiring, and they kind of go hand in hand. What does your process look like for hiring?
Well, first thing is we read all the resumes, and then Chris, his partner, will make a spreadsheet, plus, minus.
Ranking system.
Yeah,
I like it.
So what's good, what's pros and cons.
You got to burn that afterwards.
Pros and cons. It's definitely trying to figure out ways to, especially when you had this many.
Yeah, that's a lot.
This many applicants is a lot to look through for sure. It's all right, I read it, but let me read it again, and then Chris did interviewing. He'll interview. I'm at the store. I won't focus, but I'll hear, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll have my little own notes, and then we'll go over it together and be like, all right, this interview was good, but end of the day, we were only originally we were just gonna hire one, but now we're getting two. So, and it's roll the dice and see how it goes.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
There's definitely a few applicants where oh man, if we could, we would hire more. But maybe we'll send them your way.
Yeah, maybe in a month. Reach out.
Yeah, we'll get applicants that have all this experience,
right? Yeah,
we're just they'll be like, yeah, I want to start at $25 an hour. Yeah, not really, but
their expectations, right,
are pretty high. But most of them, I'll say would you consider taking X amount, much lower, and they'll be like, yeah, I'd think about it. But experience definitely matters. We do the same process you do. So we go through the applicants, then we sit and have, interviews with them. And, I ask a bunch of different questions. I do the interview myself most of the time. But yeah, we ask all types of questions.
Right.
And after it was just a few months ago, I went into Trader Joe's because I really like Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, they're so personable there. Everyone's there so nice. And, I went up to the manager and I said, what do you guys do? He's like, oh, nothing special. We just talk to people during their interview. We just ask them how they're doing and what they like. And, and it's not really questions of what do you know?
Yeah.
It's who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And how personable are you? Because they basically, what he told me is that they decide that they can train you for any of the parts there, but we can't train you to be a good customer service. Being personable. Yeah. Can't train that.
Yeah.
It's hard to train that.
Yeah.
You can get there, sure, but they're looking for those people right off the bat. That's what they're looking for. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So kind of implement that now in my own hiring process.
Yeah. There's a question that Chris asked at the end is it's a more of a fun question. He phrases as it's if you're for this round, he asked if you were an appliance, what would it be? That was
what would it be?
Probably toaster, just because Brave Little Toaster was a thing when I was a kid, and it's the first one that popped in my head.
Okay.
See, that's a good answer, right? If you were interviewing me, because it's just personable.
I was thinking of fridge, and I don't know why.
Fridge? Yeah. That's a good one too.
Because you're so cool.
Yeah, so it's interesting of what they pick and the reason behind it. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like some of those questions that has nothing to do with what you're doing at store is definitely a way to figure out like, oh, that's what they're thinking of in their mind. You know, it's like what's they're processing in their head. You know, it's very interesting.
Because you can train them to sort cards. Like, they can learn, like you said, you can learn Warhammer or Magic and you know, be a, you know, pretty knowledgeable in those subjects pretty quickly, you know, but to actually treat that customer well, treat that customer like, you know, they're wanted in that store and feel welcomed, you know, that's kind of tough. That's a personality trait. And,
it is.
You know, that's one of the things we really look for.
It's one of those, what do you call it? Social, you know, someone's very sociable. And,
high EQ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
High EQ. Yeah, for us, I mean, we have two positions essentially that we hire for as staff, which we haven't hired for in over a year and a half now. Like we've had 2 staff we've actually had 4 staff, 2 that have stuck with us. They haven't left until now. Recently, 1 will be leaving, and then 2 others that was seasonal and went to school, and then another one that started working with us right after the pandemic, and it was a bit too social for them. And they had talked to me and said it's just not working out. And so
that's pretty good of them to realize that about themselves.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It was, and I appreciate that because like it's very easy to just not show up for your shift.
Exactly.
Right.
Just don't come.
I've done that before, so I'm waiting for the payback.
God.
I was an excellent employee and worker.
Well, you did say you had a lot of jobs, so
but I was also very like, I'm gonna do my thing. I think
that's so funny.
I think, I was, we can talk about my past off there. But we have an application that's the same for both positions, and it's very basic, like just where you worked before, and then we have 2 questions, and one question is like, what does the tabletop gaming hobby mean to you? And then the other one is like, why do you want to work for our store?
Right.
And if you're ever watching this and you're applying to us, like, just make sure you answer those questions because that's our first test.
And do they say, I want to get paid?
Yeah. I've seen like, I just love tabletop games as an answer. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to even go past step 2. Like, so that's one major thing for us is like to do that. Then you get past that. And then I usually follow up with an email and say, give them more details about the position. Right. We try to be as upfront and clear in the application, but sometimes, like, for example, the youth DM position, I might put out a call for a youth DM for the summer, but then, like, plans change, or maybe we just need on-call DM, and I let them know and see if they're still interested in that. And then we'll do the interview. And for me, like, for the youth DMs, I've shared this with you guys, it's more important for me to have, for our applicants to have experience with youth versus experiencing DMing. Like, I would be down to hire someone who's never DM'd before, but has played D&D and wants to DM for the first time, but has been a teacher or something like that. Like, over someone who's DM'd forever but has never worked with youth, it's a little bit harder to do. Not that they wouldn't be able to, but And then our register staff is just, I think a lot of what you guys say. When you look at applicants, do you hire based off of similar experiences? Like, for example, if I know someone's worked in a restaurant, that's a pretty big indicator for me that they could perform this job well. Because I know I've worked in restaurants a lot. Where like...
Well, so you've never had a bad waiter?
So I would have to see how long they've been at the restaurant, right? So like if they're still there, they've been there for a couple of years, or like Chick-fil-A or something like that. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like Trader Joe's, right? If you had someone from Trader Joe's apply, because then I don't know. And then on the other end for retail, I've worked in retail, and retail can kind of
retail
be
sucks.
A wide spectrum though. Like you could have you could have someone
retail
who's
sucks.
I don't know.
That's our store's retail, and no. But it's funny. I actually had an applicant come in, and it was really tight, and I really liked them, but we chose someone else. And like it was probably a month later. in Trader Joe's. And she's like, "Hey!" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" So
they got him. That's how they get him.
Yeah.
They call
It
Gaming
was
Grounds, be like, "Who's been interviewing over there?"
I was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
So anything else about this topic before we move on? Any last words or?
Last words. I hope not.
Yeah,
I think we
nothing's
shared
on
some
my
pretty
head.
good tips as far as applications go, and even just applications in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
every industry probably has their own method of,
I mean, and if you guys have questions, write them in there. We'll
comments.
respond.
well, speaking of which,
Speaking of the comments,
Comment.
let's go into our LFG Con update.
yeah. Nice banner going on here.
Yes, LFG Con. So we have some updates. The very first one is the giveaway. So we are going to give away another LFG Con badge. And to do that, you need to be subscribed. So make sure you've subscribed to our YouTube channel.
So we can hit you.
Yes, and you can be hit, or we can hit you, or we can get to it. I don't even know anymore. The joke's gone. And if you comment below and you like this video, we will randomly choose a comment below to award the badge to. We will comment on your comment. So this is kind of like, I don't know. We'll reply to you.
Wait, what's that date by?
For your email. It'll be by the 19th of August.
19th of August.
So make sure you comment. The 16th of August.
16th.
of
Yeah,
August.
16th. Yeah,
Six-
16th.
one,
August 16th.
six.
Yeah, reverse that 9.
But I do want to because I know that there are a lot of scams and stuff on YouTube and people that will comment and it's not true.
yeah.
So make sure you get an email from our email which is info@lfg-con.com. So if anybody else is reaching out to you about a giveaway, that's not
us.
a real legit giveaway unless it comes directly from our email.
Right.
It could be, but anyway, that one won't be from.
And then what else we got?
Website update.
Website
Oh,
update.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, it's a lot of more details are coming up, but I think the big one is we're gonna have the early bird registration come up for full con pass, and I believe it's gonna be $60.
$60.
Yeah, it sounds.
I got that right now.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a deal.
Well, looks like you're gonna be able to get a badge.
I love it.
But yeah, $60. Regular price day of is gonna be $80. We have not set exactly how long the early bird's gonna last, but
There's a full con, right?
yeah, full con.
Yeah.
Yeah, only full con right now. Because
Okay.
I think it's a good opportunity if you're interested, coming and joining us, play some games, learn some games, whatnot.
We have 11 months until the con. How long do
Yeah.
you think early bird might be up?
Ooh,
We
who knows?
don't know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we're
maybe
still.
maybe we'll sell out before we can end it. Who knows?
Who knows? All right, so I think that's it for us,
Yeah.
right? Am I missing any LFGCon updates? No?
I think that's
Maybe
it.
more down the road?
Yeah, more
Yeah,
down the
more
road.
down the road.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.